battle on the same road, but we don't battle with the same demons. Nowadays we skip over potholes. Recognize mirages when...
Excuse all the noises. I'm still sick. I'm drinking coffee. It is about 6:40 a.m. on a Saturday, and I've walked up to the top of Vinegar Hill. You can see the tower behind me, and I'm hoping to get a nice sunrise, but it's absolutely overhead clouds everywhere, so I doubt it. Well, hey, there's worse ways to start your day, isn't there? And I figured, I've had a good friend of mine always recommends I get up first thing in the morning, walk up to the top of this hill and get a overhead perspective of the life I'm living. And I have to admit, it's quite peaceful up here. Just watching the town below wake up. Just have a moment to take it in. I think we're surrounded by so much noise, so much media and so much chaos all the time that we forget to just breathe for a minute, man, and just take it in, don't we? We're super glued to our phones all the time. It's a bit fucked up, but I just think it's time for me to sit down and record whatever's on my head and just go with it this week. I hope it's not too windy. We'll see how it goes. I had a cool moment this week. I got a text off Sharif, who's one of my good friends. For some of you who listened to, I think it was episode 2 or 3 of this podcast, Sharif was one of the founding members of my first ever musical act, which was called The Elements, and we were a rap group from Dublin, and we were really, really good for our time at what we were doing. And he sent me a song called Youth of Today, which is from an album that we brought out called The Lost Archives, 2006 to 2008. So The Lost Archives was basically songs from 2006 to 2008, obviously. Hold on, I want to get some coffee. Songs that we never released, so we brought them out a few years later. I think it was 2012 at the time. And he just sent it to me saying, this is still fucking banging. And I went online and I found the album on SoundCloud. It's still up there. If anyone's interested, let me know. I'll send you a link. And I listened to the whole Lost Archives album. And it was like getting in a time capsule and going back to, say, 2005, 6, 7, and just looking at myself and my friends again. It was like all these memories came back to me from back then, and I just realised I was like still growing so much. Say I was 23, 22, I was still growing as an individual so much. It's like listening to a kid that I'm closely related to, but it's not me, you know? But you can easily just forget all these experiences you've had in life. They just dissolve into distant memories. And then if you look at a photograph, or you lucky enough for me to be able to listen to yourself create art again, it's like you can fall back into it. I wish my internal hard drive was good enough to remember all these instances, because I feel like I've forgotten so much. And if we forget our past, sure, sometimes I think, like, what are we then? If we don't have our past, what are we? Sorry, this coffee is fixing my throat. I'm still not well. I'm looking at the camera here, and the backdrop's actually beautiful. There's a bit of light coming in around them clouds now, with the tower behind me, and it's actually pretty fucking awesome. What can we ramble about? Let's see. I had a little notepad last night and I just started jotting. This is what I do. I jot down. Yeah, I suppose we should talk about this podcast, because every once in a while I'm driving down the road or I'm just walking, I just go, Adam, you have a fucking podcast. And you're 33 episodes deep and you didn't know what you were doing at the start. And I've learned a lot, but there's still so much I don't know. Every week I'm picking up a new trick or whatever, but I just want to thank everybody that does listen or watch this, because every time I get a message or somebody says, so-and-so was telling me about your podcast and you said something here and it really resonated with them, or they were thinking about your perspective on this, or one of your guests said something really cool, it makes me go, man, I have to keep going now. I have to keep going. And we've had such a range of episodes already. I'm going to try and keep that going. I mean, like last week we had Joe Gallagher, like from South Carolina, on, talking about his battles dealing with that car crash that pretty much broke his back in 2 places, getting hooked on opioids as a result, having a toxic relationship with his music career, getting arrested, going to jail, almost getting done for attempted murder, coming out of all that and then realising that he needed his God to turn his life around, and he turned his whole life around and now he's building something brilliant. And that's just last episode, you know what I mean? Before that we had Charlie Bell running around the whole perimeter of the USA. Who the hell is able to do something so cool as that, like? And then I get the opportunity to talk to these people. So I'm blessed, you know? I'm blessed. But then it's not just the guests that I get on that people tell me, congratulate me on. Sometimes it's the ones where I just tell stories myself, which makes me feel like I'm actually capable of doing something of value. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And to think that I started in my kitchen with a microphone and a little mixer and just said, fuck it, I'll press play and see what happens. And now it's like 3 hours of my day. Every day I'm thinking, right, where am I going to go with this? How am I going to take this to the next level? Who am I going to contact about this? How am I going to network here? My Instagram's not good enough. I need to get better at this. And now I know how to edit videos, come up with cool ideas, all because you people start listening to me talk shit. So thank you very much. It's crazy. Should I do my 10,000 push-ups now? I'll do them after the podcast, but we can chat about the 10,000 push-ups. Well, I'm not going to do 10,000 push-ups now. I do 100 push-ups every day, every single day. I'm on day 61 today. 100 push-ups every day for 100 days. 10,000 push-ups. And let me tell you why I'm doing 10,000 push-ups. And to put it simply, it's because I've never been capable or never had the mentality to do something that I didn't quite want to do every day for 100 days to attain the results required to take myself to the level that I wanted to be. So that's probably not as simple as I said it was going to be. But basically what I'm doing is I'm testing myself to see if I can do something 100 days straight without coming up with an excuse for missing days, because my whole life has been an accumulation of me coming up with cool ideas to take myself to the next level or where I wanted to be, but then making excuses for the reason that I didn't do it. And then making peace with the fact that I didn't do it because of this or because of that. Like, I've got so many memories of sitting around. One comes to mind now where I was 30 years old, and I always get ideas, or I always have inner thoughts when I'm having a shower for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe someone else can explain that to me. But I remember being in the shower. You don't need visuals for this. At 30 years old, and saying, right, this is the year now. You're 30. You gotta do everything you wanted to do now. This is the time. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And what do you? Obviously, the usual must have happened, and something got in the way. And I let something get in the way, should I say? I let something get in the way to stop me from doing whatever I wanted to do that year. I may have done some of the things I wanted to do, but I didn't do everything because I don't feel like I'm at the level I should be at. And that's not depression, that's ambition. That's what that is, and it's a very different thing. I think it's quite healthy to be uncomfortable with the position that you're in if you think you should have done better. And I am uncomfortable with the position that I am in. And I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable with it, if that makes sense to you. I feel like it's not an ego thing, because I think everybody can do this stuff. But I feel like I should have been a champion at whatever I applied my energy into. And that's probably because I felt like I was a champion when I was a young rapper, when I was a kid, because I was lyrically just writing stuff and I don't know where it came from. It seemed to come from nothing and just come out onto a page, and I'd say, how did I write that? And even other people would say, where did you come up with that? That's brilliant. And I think maybe I feel like I should have been able to do that with whatever I wanted to in life. And I suspect that it was a cowardice that prevented me from doing it. A fear of not knowing what was around the corner, or a fear of being mocked if I failed. I most certainly have suffered in the past with imposter syndrome, which is ridiculous in hindsight. Now I walk into a room and I'm like, right, what are we trying to do? Okay, I don't know how to do it, but when I do it, I'm going to be better than everybody. That's what I think to myself. But when I was younger, sorry guys, I'm still sick, I gotta get tissue. When I was younger, I'd walk into a room and I might have been more than capable than everybody else. I might have been more than capable than everybody else, but the internal dialogue was telling me that I wasn't, and I should get the hell out of that room as quick as I can. And I am no different than everybody else. So I know for a fact that there's a lot of people who live like that. And my message to you is figure out how the fuck to get out of it, because it does you no favours in the long run. How am I getting out of it? Well, there's a number of ways. I am now surrounded by people who are like-minded and people who are telling me that you can do this, get the fuck up, I'm doing it, come with me, let's go. Surround yourself with positive people who have the same perspective as you. That helps for sure. I listen to a lot of audio, mindfulness audio, motivational audio. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube for this. Kind of get you fired up, get you thinking the right way, get the energy levels correct. I do that. If anyone ever wants some of this stuff, let me know, I'll send it on to you. I have started to reflect on my achievements, or reflect on my situation in life and what I should be grateful for, and that helps also because there's a lot. And I exercise. And I've said this 100 times, but the connection between the body and the mind is real. So if I keep the body moving and I keep the body stronger and sharp, keep my wits about me, well then the mind is firing on all cylinders. If the mind is firing on all cylinders, it's going to operate more efficiently, like a good engine, like a Honda. I want to be like a Honda. Hondas are my favourite cars, guys. But that was the concept behind it, the 10,000 push-ups. And it proved to be correct because I've been sick or injured for the last, I would say, 4 to 5 weeks now, dealing with back injuries and then getting very sick, and I'm still fucking sick. But I still got up and I still done the push-ups. It didn't matter. If you watch some of my videos, you'll see me wincing because my back is sore, and now that back pain is pretty much gone. But I didn't stop the push-ups, and I didn't miss one day. And now I don't have to wake up and feel like, oh, you fucked up yesterday, you skipped your push-ups. Now I go, oh, Adam, you persevered. You persevered for the first time in your life. You've persevered through any trials and tribulations. But people are like, yeah, you done 100 push-ups for 100 days, well done. Hey, it is not necessarily about the 100 push-ups. It's about the fact that I won't quit on any motherfucking goal that I set from now on. And there's a big difference in that, man. There's a big difference in that. So that is the philosophy behind the 10,000 push-ups. Hey, if you can do 100 push-ups for 30 days, hats off to you. But I suggest you find something like that, or that couch to 5k or whatever. Do you know what the worst thing that could happen is? You might feel better about yourself when you finish it. Oh no. That's the truth. So that's why I done that, man. If anybody listened to episode 33, it started off with Joe talking about manifestation. And one of my good friends, KD, coach, as you would know him, talks about manifestation a lot to me too. And originally I would have figured that that was a bit of a, how do I say, mumbo jumbo. I would have figured manifestation was a bit like magic stones, you know what I mean? I didn't understand the principle of it. I thought it was just like people sitting on a hill like I am now and just kind of saying, God, give me what I need or whatever. But it's not. I looked into what it is, and the definition of it is to manifest, is to bring something deserved into one's life through thoughts, beliefs and actions. So to bring something deserved into one's life through thoughts, beliefs and actions. And that's what Joe Gallagher done, and that's what KD Coach done as well. So Dave, like Joe Gallagher for instance, believed that he deserved, or he wanted at least, a better life, a less criminal lifestyle, and he wanted to connect with God. So he worked towards that. He got down on his knees in that jail cell in front of 20 people and begged to God to help him change his life. So that's his thoughts. His thoughts is him begging to God, asking for a change before he basically self-sabotaged and fucked up his whole life. And he done that. He done it in fairness to him. He manifested that. So that's the thoughts action. That's the thoughts angle, should I say. He obviously left that cell and he thought about, right, well, I've asked God, how am I need to change my life now. That's all he would have focused on. He would have narrowed in on that. So that became his belief system. His belief system that was that his life needed to be turned around before it was too late. He needed to save his marriage. He needed to remove the criminal aspects of his lifestyle, and he needed to do something good for society. So he started to believe in that. And then if you believe it all the time and you focus your energy on that, he started to take actions in that way. And he started his pasta sauce business, and he's going to start his farm, and he's working on his TV series about his life, and he's written a book, and these are all them actions. So he's now 2 years later talking on a podcast with the likes of me about inspiring people through his story, when he could have easily skipped those 100 push-ups, metaphorically of course, and now being dead somewhere or on a hill or in the back of an alley hooked on Xanax, drinking fucking whiskey, blaming the world for his failures. But he didn't. He took all these actions on something that he deserved and he believed in, and he manifested his success. So I am now actually a firm believer in manifestation if you apply yourself to whatever it is. And it's quite good to sit on this hill and look around you in Wexford and think about what you want to manifest, man, you know. And I think I want to manifest having the best podcast in Ireland, being the Joe Rogan of Ireland, the realest podcast in Ireland. It's coffee time, apologies. And I would have never thought I'd been capable of that, but the more I go on, the more I think, if you want, you can do this. If you want to apply yourself to it, I can do it. Because no lie, there's thousands of you out there who are in this position that I'm in right now, where you feel like you're trapped. I feel like I'm trapped, man. I feel like I'm trapped in the rat race I've got myself into. Like, I've got myself in a hole, like, with just debts and bills and loans, and I feel like when my money comes in, it's gone, and then I get paid by the month, and I feel like when I get paid, I'm good for a week, and then it's gone, and then I'm dragging again, and I'm surviving for the next 3 weeks, and I am fucking fed up of that lifestyle. So my number one focus now is to figure out how to make my life more financially comfortable. And finances and money isn't like a primary objective for me to feel like I'm successful, but I'm fed up of doing 40-hour work weeks and feeling like I'm not getting anywhere. I don't think that's really natural either. I don't think we're supposed to live like that. Do I know what we're supposed to live like? No, but I just don't feel like we're supposed to live like that. So I'm working towards manifesting a different life on that end of things also. Anybody see my Instagram last week? You'll see we went on the second, hold on, give us a sec. I need to blow my fucking nose. By the way, people are probably going to start coming around now this time in the morning, but if anybody's seen my Instagram last week, you'll see that myself and the gym check-in, which is like my WhatsApp group for people. When we go to the gym, we just check in, say, lads, I'm in the gym. And it helps everybody else kind of go, oh shit, I need to go. So we planned our second trip. We went on our second trip. We went once earlier in the year, 4 of us, went to a little resort, done some training and hung out. The whole philosophy is we don't just get fucked up on drink or drugs anymore. We train and we chat and we hang out and we have nice food. So this time 7 of us went. So the gang is getting bigger, which is cool. Next time there could be 12 of us, I don't know. So we went to Fuerteventura last week. I'm sitting up here, you can see my arms folded, it's a bit cold. This time last week I was in Fuerteventura, like 25 degrees at the pool, or working out. And it was class, man. I think it was like episode 13, or it was early episode. It could have been a bit later, but I had Austin Doherty on, who's like just one of these notoriously well-known people in Blanche, where I grew up. And Ozzy was like the victim of a vicious attack a couple of years ago that left him like in a coma, and he's still recovering. He's obviously out of coma, thank God, but he's still physically recovering. He's got his wits about him now, which is great, but he's got a couple of issues with like movement and one of his arms and stuff, because as a result of neurological damage or nerve damage from the attack. So, but his positivity and his approach to life since is quite inspiring. He doesn't let it get him down. He gets on with life and he has a great attitude. But Ozzy came on holidays with us, and Ozzy ain't been on holidays for we reckon it was 15 years or so. So he came with us, and he had a great time. And they were like the rest of us, man, in the gym every day, training on that holiday. Doesn't let it stop him, and had a ball. We had some good. We hung out. We had some good meals and stuff. The hot sauce. one of the waiters left hot sauce on our table for us, but we just thought it was like a sweet chili kind of hot sauce. But the lads put it on their food, and they all did. They're all crying out. Their eyes are red raw. They're all coughing and dying, looking for water. So I looked up this hot sauce. It was called Dragon's Breath, and it's apparently the hottest hot sauce you can get. So that was fucking hilarious. But rewinding back to the start of the journey, if you look at my TikTok, you'll see it. I'm not going to go on too much about it. But Ryanair basically left his electric wheelchair, which we had booked in, all receipts proven, booked in. They left it. They didn't put it on. They put Ozzy on the plane, and then they didn't put his wheelchair on the plane because they said it didn't fit. So they just left it in Dublin Airport. They just left it there. So the poor lad had to go on holiday without it. We only found out when we got to Fuerteventura that night that it wasn't there. So I am calling out Ryanair on their poor customer service there, and I am in the middle of pushing a formal complaint against them, and I'll keep you posted on it, because I've got an auntie who's wheelchair bound as well, and I feel like these motherfuckers need to be held accountable for that, and I'm going to make it my business to do that. But anyway, on a more positive perspective, that holiday was brilliant, and I look forward to doing another one. I think it's a great idea. Keith came up with that idea, and we're going to keep rolling with it. But if you ever want to go on a trip for exercise and relaxation and all that, there's a place in Fuerteventura called Playitas. I suggest you check that out, because it has everything you can think of. So 100% check that out. Let's rewind a little bit back again. When I was on the plane to go on that holiday, just an interesting moment. I was sitting on the plane with two ladies beside me, chatting away a little bit, and the woman who's chatting away to me in the middle, she's gone to the same kind of area, and she goes every year and whatnot. She says to me, I hope you don't dislike me if you have noticed my accent. And I was like, well, why would I dislike you because of your accent? I said, are you from Poland or something? Eastern European, I thought. And she said, no, I'm from Russia. I hope you don't dislike me now. And I was just thinking, Jesus Christ, man, this poor woman thinks that all of us in Western Europe or whatever just hate every Russian that walks around because of what's going on in Ukraine. And I told her, I said, sure, look, well, for number one, I don't trust everything I read in the mainstream media for a start, so I know all Russians aren't evil. She actually said to me, oh, I hope you don't think all Russians are the devil. And I was like, man, sure, you're not the one doing this, you know what I'm saying? Can't judge everybody. But I felt so bad for her. But then we got into it, we started talking. She was like a psychologist. She was a real clever woman. And she was telling me what it's like on the Russian side of things. And I'm not getting into conspiracy here, but her side of the story is totally different. Totally. She's saying, like, telling me Putin has done great things for the Russian people, and the education is so high in Russia, and the narrative that's controlled by European countries is totally off. And I was asking her, I said, what's the end goal then? If this war is going to keep going on, what's the end goal for Europe, if Europe is actually the instigator? And she said to me that she believes that the European countries, like say maybe Germany and the UK, she wasn't a big fan of the UK government, are trying to infiltrate the Russian government, and they've never been able to do it before. They're trying to get their hands in on the Russian government, and part of me believes that, to be honest with you. Part of me does believe that there's just a lot of propaganda going on, man. I just hope the war stopped, to be honest, and then we can figure out what's going on behind closed doors another day. We probably never will. But I felt a bit bad for her, because she's walking around, she lives in Ireland for the last 20 years, and she's walking around probably afraid to speak a little bit because she thinks everybody's judging her because she happened to be born in Russia, which is a bit messed up if you ask me. So Ina, shout out to you. I couldn't speak too much to you on the plane that time because I had lost my voice because I was sick. So at the end, all I could do was put my hand on her shoulder and nod at her and wave at her and say goodbye without saying it. My voice was totally gone. It's still recovering. And for someone who makes music, does vocals and does podcasts, losing your voice is quite scary. But luckily it's coming back. My last thing I was thinking about last night, I think about this one every day, because when you go on Instagram or online anywhere now, it's taken over, man. AI is taken over now at a pace that even I am not quite comfortable with. If you think about it, when I go onto these socials now, my whole feed are Sora videos. If any of you know what Sora is, hold on, I'll discuss Sora in a minute. I need some coffee, it's cold. Sora is like an AI video generator, as far as I know. I've never used it. But basically, if you're seeing all these videos going around of Michael Jackson doing wrestling, Michael Jackson doing boxing, Michael Jackson in the UFC, Michael Jackson, which this one's actually funny, taking KFC chicken off people and running around singing, or the Queen having a boxing match with Diana, or what's the guy's name in the wheelchair? I can't, running the half pipe, that genius, I can't think of his name, doesn't matter. All these crazy AI generated videos that are like super realistic now, whereas 2 years ago they were laughable, that there'd be 3 arms and 28 fingers and the face would be twisted. Now it's like super real. Like, I was looking at that AI generated video of Michael Jackson going, Jesus, you could tell people he was still alive now. There's Tupac ones as well, actually. Tupac ones as well, come to think of, who might still be alive. And conspiracies and all that, but where are we going to go with this? If we can do the AI generated stuff of that, sure, then we can do an AI generated video of people that are really alive doing unrealistic acts, or doing acts that, or saying things that they didn't really say. And talk about the hazards of say, let's go back to Russia, Ukraine. What if we done a video of Putin talking about the fact that he's going to attack fucking the UK? But he didn't say it. Do you know what I mean? This shit is getting a bit weird. It's getting very potentially fatally dangerous in my eyes, because like, you could do, dark people could do dark things. People could take your face, or my face, I don't know why you'd want to take my face, put it through an AI application and bring out a video of me running down the street with no clothes on, screaming crazy, like, racist remarks at people. and say, look what he done. Do you know what I'm saying? And even from an artist's perspective, this is less important in a way, but I think in the grand scheme of things it would be very important. Like with Drop Tune, right, my band, we could spend from start to finish 50 hours on a song, 50. Like from the lads starting to write the track, coming up with demo versions of it and ideas, tweaking that, sending it to me writing lyrics for it, laying down demo lyrics, bringing it to the lads, changing up lyrics, changing up position, changing up ideas, rewriting bits, re-recording that, putting that down on the demo, going to a studio, putting down the actual instrumental, then putting down the real vocals, then mixing that, then making any edits to the first take of the track that we've done, then putting down a second take of it, then doing a final mix on that, and then mastering that. That could be 50 hours for one song. And now we have AI capable of farting out a fake song in an hour or in 10 minutes. Well, if you just prompt it, make me a song that sounds like Aloe Black but singing about the hood. And then we get someone like Nick Hustles, who I was listening to thinking, Jesus, this Nick Hustles fella's good. I must check out his tour dates and see if he's going to play in Ireland at all. Only to find out that Nick Hustles is fucking AI generated. So, how do we value music if we can make microwave music now? If music can be made by some little dweeb on a computer, by just telling AI to make something that sounds like this, and then something comes out, and then make a fucking image to make it look like this person. Well, then how do we value music, and how do we value the effort that's put into music? Or art, because art is going to be the same. That's a big question. What are them 50 hours worth on that song now? You know what I mean? If somebody can just make a song in 10 minutes. Is it the craftsmanship? Is it all that effort that was put into that song? Is that what makes it valuable? Because if it's not that, well then, what's the point? I think people are going to get pissed off with AI. I'm already getting, like with the art side of AI, I'm already getting pissed off with these videos popping up because it was humorous for the first few, but now I'm just like, yeah, this is just going to get really repetitive and like really boring really quick, and I hope people start to reject it and people go back to creativity, real human creativity. Because if there's no value in the human input in all this stuff, well then we're no better than that fucking, we're no more alive than that tower behind me, you know what I'm saying? I think it might be the context. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think it might be the context in music that makes it valuable, the human context. And we never had to deal with this dilemma before because all music was made by humans. Now it's not. So this is something we have to look at and approach, and I think it might be the human context. For me it is, because what I always valued in music was what the emotion that was being carried through the song, or how I translated that emotion, or what emotion it translated for me. It was like I had a connection with the person that wrote it, and you can't have that with AI. Like, just off the head, think of Life on Mars by David Bowie. Like, I used to always listen to that song and I'd get the hairs up on the back of my neck and I'd have to close my eyes and I'd nearly cry. And it was the context of that song, what I translated it as could be something totally different. But the lyrics in it, I just don't see how you could listen to the lyrics of Life on Mars and the piano and if it was made by AI and think it was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, just the lyrics would make no sense if AI done them. Take a look at the sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating on the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know. He's on a best-selling show. It's the life of Mars. What a tune. I can't sing that shit this time in the morning. But yeah, the lyrics, like, take a look at the lawman beating on the wrong guy. Oh man, I wonder if he'll never know. He's on a best-selling show. Is there life on Mars? And for me, I remember listening and I thought it was Bowie looking at those drunk sailors fighting in the dance hall and looking at that lawman beating on that wrong guy. And I thought it was Bowie looking at the human race and thinking, is this the best we can do? Maybe there's another planet that's looking down at us thinking, what the hell are these crazy creatures doing down here? And that may be the case. That may be the case. But I'll never get the opportunity to sit with Bowie and ask him if that's what he meant by that. But to me, that's what he meant. And to me, that was beautiful. And to me, that's poetic. And I think the powerful thing in that is that AI won't be able to generate that emotion. AI won't be able to generate that context or emotion because AI didn't live in that moment. And AI won't be able to make me reflect like that. So I think that is how we as artists are going to conquer AI in the long run, because I'm speaking to my fellow artists or musicians or writers. We have a big challenge ahead of us now with this, and I don't think a lot of people fully comprehend how troubling it's going to be. But we will beat it in the long run. I hope so. I hope so. What crazy ramblings to have on the top of a stony hill at 7 a.m. in the morning. But just listen to the silence out here. I feel alive. But I gotta go. I got a gym session at 9 a.m. So I gotta go fuel myself. And look, this was a different episode, I know. Sometimes you need these ones. And if you're listening to me with your headphones on, or driving your car, or walking your dog, or wherever, or in work, think about all those little things I said, and think about ways that you can improve yourself, or be better, or be more content with yourself. Because that's what I'm doing. And that is the road, and that is this podcast. And if I can assist you in any way, please do contact me. But for now, I'll be back very soon with something totally different as per usual. Have a good day, my friends. Much respect. Thanks for joining me again. I gotta go warm up.